So let us start with chapter number 1, that is national income. So chapter number 1, national income. I hope everyone might have received my running notes and material, right? Everyone might have received my material and running notes. Very good. Okay. So we are going to start with chapter number 1. So chapter number 1 we have is national income. Directly let us start with what exactly is national income. Clear? Let us understand first of all what exactly do we mean by national income. Let us say, for example, let us go to Google and search richest people in the world. Clear? Richest people in the world. Richest people in world 2020. Your list is given. See, number 1 is Jeff Bezos. Number 2 is Bill Gates. Number 3 is Bernard. Number 4 is Warren Buffett. Number 5 is Larry. Number 6, like that list is given. Anyone else facing audio issues? If anyone is facing audio issues, you can please disconnect and connect back again. Clear? It might be problem from your side. Clear? No. So how do I know whether this person, how do I determine that this fellow is a rich fellow or not? How do I know whether this fellow is a rich or poor fellow? How do I decide whether Jeff Bezos is the richest person in the world? I am not the richest person in the world. How will you determine a person is rich or poor? By seeing the income, right? By seeing the income. That is what Karthik I told you. Please disconnect and come back again. Because I can't keep disturbing the class, right? If you are unable to listen anything, please disconnect and come back again. Clear? Now. So, by seeing the income, right? You will see the income to determine whether a person is rich or poor. Correct or not? I repeat, you will check a person's income to determine whether a person is rich or poor. In the same way, how will you determine whether a country is rich or poor? How will you check whether a country is rich or poor? Sir, I will determine whether the country is rich or poor based on which income? National income. Based on what? National income. Correct or not? Clear? Based on what? National income. Now tell. Remember one thing. Whenever we are calculating national income, black money is not taken into consideration. I repeat, black money is not taken into consideration. Only reported money is taken into consideration. Only reported money is taken into consideration. Clear? Only reported money. Tell me, black money is reported or unreported? Black money is reported or unreported? Unreported. So unreported money should not be taken into consideration. Only reported money should be taken into consideration for calculation of what? National income. But sir, how to calculate national income? I can determine national income. Clear? I can determine national income in 4 different ways. Clear? I can determine national income in 4 different ways. GDP, GNP, NDP and NP. Sir, can you tell me full form of GDP? GDP stands for what? Gross domestic product. GNP stands for gross national product. NDP stands for what? Net domestic product. NNP stands for what? Net national product. Khatam. Now, let us say, let us now see where is India in GDP. Where is India in richest country? GDP of India. GDP of India. The most widely used, I repeat, the most widely used method for national income is what? GDP. Did you anytime see GNP is going up or coming down? Did you anytime see NNP is going up and coming down? No. We will only talk about one thing called GDP. So can I say GDP is the most widely used method for calculating what? National income. Is it correct or not? Wherever you see GDP, GDP is falling, GDP is increasing. GDP is falling, GDP is increasing. See here, GDP of India news. See here, India's GDP will decline by 9.6% in which year? 2020-21 financial year में. Recently, I don't know whether you have heard or not. See here, India's GDP, last line. India's GDP is minus 23.9, worst contraction. Minus 23.9. But sir, what is GDP? How to calculate GDP? How to analyze GDP? How GDP is calculated? How GDP is calculated? Let us understand what is GDP. Then we'll also see how GDP is calculated. GDP. Listen very carefully. Be very attentive because this concept, Aram sir, compulsory question will come in exam. Clear? Compulsory question will come in exam. So listen very carefully. Practical question आएगा इसमें से. Sir, what do we mean by GDP? Sir, GDP is market value of all final economic goods and economic services. What is it telling me, sir? It's market value. Correct or not? What is talking about? It is talking about market value. Market value, I hope everyone knows what is market value. Next, of all which goods? Final goods. Remember one thing, goods can be intermediate goods, goods can be final goods. I repeat, goods can be intermediate goods and goods can be also final goods. Clear? Goods can also be final goods. Now tell, when I am calculating GDP, which one should I take and which one should I ignore? When I am calculating GDP, what should I take? So I should take into consideration final goods. Final goods on not only goods, final economic goods and final economic services. Clear? Now, sir, before we go further into the definition, you should understand first what is market value, which you already know. What is final goods? What are economic and non-economic goods? Let us understand now intermediate goods and final goods. I hope you are able to see this pizza here. I hope you are able to see the pizza on the screen. Now tell me, when you go to Domino's, pizza is what? Is it a raw material or is it a finished goods? This pizza what you're seeing on the screen, is it raw material or finished goods? Finished goods. Value of finished goods, will it go to calculation of GDP? Value of finished goods, will it go to calculation of GDP? Yes. Value of finished services, will it go to calculation of GDP? Yes. Now, so to prepare a pizza, I need what? Sir, I need maida, I need vegetables, I need cheese, I need yeast, I need pizza sauce. All these things are final goods or intermediate goods? All these things are final goods or intermediate goods? These are intermediate goods. So now tell me, will you take value of intermediate goods or final goods for calculation of GDP? Always take final goods. These values should not be taken into consideration. Final goods ka value should be taken into consideration. Clear? So understood? Sir, can I say goods which are ready for consumption is called what? Final goods. Correct or not? Goods which are used to create final goods, intermediate goods. Goods which are ready for consumption, final goods. Clear? Next. Then it says economic goods and economic services. Sir, what exactly do we mean by economic and non-economic? Let us understand the difference between economic and non-economic. Sir, this fellow is a chef. Chef preparing a pizza in a restaurant. Will that fellow take money from you? Chef preparing a pizza in a restaurant. Will that fellow take money from you? When money is involved, what is it? Economic or non-economic? When money is involved, economic or non-economic? Economic. Your mom is preparing pizza for you at home. Will she ask money? Or it is out of love and care? Sir, it is out of love and care for you. This is called what? Non-economic activity. Clear? Something which is free of cost, non-economic. Something for which you pay money, economic. Now tell, which one should I take into consideration? I will always take economic goods into consideration. Non-economic activities I have to ignore. Clear? Non-economic activities I have to ignore. Now tell, sir, my YouTube videos are available to everyone free of cost or not? Videos on YouTube what I upload, are they free of cost? Yes. So that activity is called what? Non-economic activity. But is anyone attending free of cost my class right now? No, everyone has paid the fees. In this situation, my classes are economic or non-economic activity. My live classes are example of what? Economic. My recorded lectures are what? Economic. But my YouTube lectures are what? Non-economic. Correct or not? So economic things I should take into consideration. Non-economic activities I have to ignore. Next, these are rules. Then gross of depreciation. The gross of depreciation means including depreciation or excluding depreciation. Gross means what? Including depreciation. Sir, don't ask why. Sir, that is the definition. Remember, bus. Next, this is very important. ये बहुत अच्छा point है. This is very important point. It says produced within the domestic territory of a country during a given period. Produced where? Produced. Am I providing services from India or not? Am I providing services from India or not? Yes. Am I selling goods in India or not? Yes. For me, what is domestic territory? India. For me, what is domestic territory? India. Produced within the domestic territory of a country. When, sir? During a given period. Given period can be a calendar year. Given period can be a financial year. Tell me, GDP is calculated 5 times, right? 4 times quarterly, right? At the end of every quarter, GDP is calculated. Plus, annual GDP is also calculated. I hope you know that. GDP is calculated after every quarter, plus GDP is calculated at the end of the quarter and at the end of the year also. So it all depends upon how and when I have to calculate GDP. Now, so domestic territory means what? Domestic territory means what? Complete India is called as what? Domestic territory. Complete India for me is called as what? Domestic territory. Clear? Now, remember one thing. For calculation of GDP, what is important? Citizenship is not important. Sir, whether I am a citizen of India or not, you should be least bothered. What is important? What is important? Production is important. This point is very important when students get 100% confused in problems in exam. Remember one thing. What is important? Sir, citizenship is not important. What is important? Production should happen in India. I hope you got the point. I will explain with some examples. Don't worry. Sir, what is important for me? Production is important, or for me citizenship is production. Now let us take some examples. I have taken some examples here. Now, Reliance is, leave about citizenship. Reliance is an Indian company. Indian company is manufacturing in India. Reliance is an Indian company. Indian company is manufacturer, producing the goods, producing the services in India. Now tell, will it go to calculation of GDP? Reliance is producing goods and services in India. Will it go to calculation of Indian GDP? Yes, very good. Sir, Amazon from USA is coming to India. Amazon from USA is coming to India, producing the goods and services in India. Will it go to calculation of Indian GDP? Yes, why? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, why? Sir, citizenship is not important for me. Where is production happening? Amazon, is it providing goods and services in India? Yes, it will go to calculation of GDP of India. Understood the logic here? So for me, whether I am from India, whether I am from US, is it relevant in GDP calculation? No. What is relevant? Production is happening in India or not? Correct or not? Apple is manufacturing in China, selling in India. Where is production happening? Where is production happening? In India or China? China. So whose GDP it will go to? Whose GDP it will go? It will go to calculation of whose GDP? China. So now tell me, sale is important or production is important for GDP calculation? Sale is important or production? Sir, production. Did I mention anywhere sale here in the definition? No, I never mentioned, right? Sale. Production is important. Sale might happen anywhere. Production is important. MI is coming to India, producing mobile phones in India. Will it go to India's GDP even though it is from China? Yes. Why? Because it is produced in India, right? Because it is produced in India. Next. Sir, Reliance is going to US and providing goods and services in US. Reliance is producing goods and services in US. Will it go to India's GDP? Will it go to India's GDP? Fast. I need everyone to reply. It's not like EIS that you'll keep listening. This is a very technical subject, more technical than EIS. Because यहाँ पर rules you have to remember. No, why? Because services are provided outside India. Goods are produced outside India. Now say, Reliance Industries 70% goods and services in India, 30% in USA. So how much will go to India's GDP? 100%, 70%, 30%, how much? 70%. How much will go to US के GDP को? 30%. Understood? Now, sir, Amazon is providing goods and services in USA. Will it go to India's GDP? No. Next, one basic question I need to ask. Basic question, let me ask you. Sir, calculation of GDP, is it same in all the countries or different in every country? Method for calculating GDP, is it same or different in all the countries? Your head, your talakai, your head, it is same. Sir, if India ka GDP calculation is different, method of calculating GDP in China is different, how can I compare? See here, simple example. Countries by GDP, list of countries by GDP. कहाँ गया विकिपीडिया? Hmm. See here, list of countries by GDP. Which GDP is it? Nominal GDP it is. So there are two types of GDP, nominal GDP, real GDP, which we'll see later on. This is the list of countries, right? Tell me, India comes in which position? See here, India comes in which position? Fifth position. India comes in fifth position. Now tell, if I have to give you a ranking, sir, your method of calculation of GDP is different. My method of calculation of GDP is different. Tell me, can I compare and give this analysis? No, I cannot compare, right? Now see here, France. Sir, France is such a chuntu company, chota country that is France. But still, number 7 पे it is. India is a huge company, sorry, huge country, but still, uska GDP, India ka, is on 5th position. Why? Why France, which is a very small country, is still very nearby to India? Simple reason. Tell me, majority of the products are manufactured in India or imported to India? Sir, when manufacturing only does not happen properly in India, can you think India ka GDP will increase? Will India's GDP increase till we increase the production in India? No. Simple logic, right? Now see here. Now you tell, Indian person producing goods in India, will it go to India's GDP calculation? Simple logic. Indian person producing in India, will it go to India's GDP? Yes. Why? Why? Because he is an Indian fellow or because it is produced in India? Production is happening in India. Don't see the citizenship. See what? Whether production is happening or not in India. Next. Sir, Indian person producing outside India, will it come to India's GDP? No. Why? Because goods and services are not produced in India. Foreign person producing in India, will it go to India's GDP? Yes, very good. Foreign person producing outside India, will it go to India's GDP? No. So let us come back and see the definition once. So what is GDP? It is market value of what goods? All final economic goods and services. Final means intermediate consumption will I take or reduce? Intermediate consumption ignore. Final goods you take into consideration. Clear? Next. And then it should be gross of depreciation. Produce where? Within the domestic territory. What is important here? Production is important. What is important? Production is important. Where it should be produced? Domestic territory. Domestic territory for you and me is what? India. Clear? If you are calculating the GDP for India, India will be what? India will be domestic territory. Correct? Simple logic. I hope you understood the concept of GDP. अभी बहुत कुछ है. We have to learn so many things. This is just introduction. Concept is clear. What will come, what will not come. Don't break your heads. If you see ICI material or any other book, you will not get this knowledge. That is why listen very carefully. So what you can learn in 10 days, I am giving you in just half an hour. So please listen very carefully. Next. Now, GDP can be calculated at two ways. I can calculate GDP either using factor cost or I can calculate GDP using market price. Correct? Factor cost, market price. Factor cost, market price. Sir, I hope you know this. What is this, sir? Factory. All the expenses incurred by a business, will it be added to the cost of product or not? All the expenses incurred within this factory, will it be added to the cost of product? Yes. This is called what? This is called as factory cost. This is called as factory cost. Once I remove the goods from the factory till it reaches the customer, what is added? What is added? What is added? Whenever you see a product, what will you see? Inclusive of what? Inclusive of what? MRP is inclusive of what? Very good. Taxes. So can I say, but don't say tax. Which tax? Direct tax or indirect tax? Indirect tax. Don't say VAT. VAT is not there, right? Indirect tax, GST. But don't write direct. Net indirect taxes. Net indirect taxes. Clear? All the expenses incurred up to factory will give me what? Factory cost. Factory cost plus net indirect taxes will give me what? Market price. I hope you understood. Factory cost means what? Up to factory all expenses plus net indirect taxes will give me what? Market price. Now, but what do we mean by net indirect taxes? See here, indirect taxes minus subsidy. Government gives some subsidy to me. Government is giving me subsidy, right? Government grant is given. Government is giving me subsidy that I should reduce from indirect taxes. From indirect taxes minus subsidy will give me what? Net indirect taxes. Clear? Now tell me, factor cost is given in the question. I want to find out the market price. What should I do? Should I add net indirect taxes or reduce net indirect taxes? Factory cost is given. I need to find out market price. Add net indirect taxes or less? Add. Sir, if they give you market price and they ask you to convert into factor cost, what will you do? Less net indirect taxes. Very good. Next. So that is what I've given a formula here. Value of output in domestic territory minus intermediate consumption will give me what? Will give me what? Market price. Clear? How to calculate market price? Value of output. Output means what? Sale or production. Output means what? Sale or production. Output means what? Sale or production. Sale or production. Production khatam. This should feed in your brain. Sale or production. Production khatam. Always remember, start your problem with market price so that other calculations will become easy for you. Clear? Now, let us say this is a cake. Now, why they are asking us to remove intermediate production? Simple logic. Why are they asking us to remove intermediate consumption? Simple logic. केक में बेकिंग पाउडर, क्लियर, बेकिंग पाउडर, बेकिंग सोडा, कोको पाउडर, मैदा, वनीला एसेंस, कंडेंस्ड मिल्क, फ्रेश क्रीम, बटर, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. All these things are used for what? Preparing a cake. I'm a cook. That is why you know. That is why I'm giving food examples. Clear? I cook every day. That is why I cook these examples only. Let us learn. So these things are used in producing a cake. And the cost of cake is, let us say, 1000 rupees. Cost of production of cake is 1000 rupees. In this 1000 rupees, value of these items is included or not? Array, simple logic. Baking powder fellow, when that fellow produces, will he give to government telling that this is what I produced? In the same way, baking soda manufacturer will give the details to in his GST return saying that, sir, I produced this much quantity of baking soda. Yes, sir. Will condensed milk, Nestle ka Milkmaid, will Nestle give the details to government? This is the production what we have done. Sir, this fellow is also giving data to government for national income. I am also adding this. Will it happen? Double calculation will happen or not? This fellow is also giving. I am also giving. Double calculation will happen. That is why they told remove intermediate goods. Why I am removing intermediate goods? The main manufacturer will include in produced. Correct or not? It is not going through me. It is going to GDP through the main manufacturer. Did you understand? Why did they ask us to remove intermediate consumption? Correct or not? Yes, sir. It's not because it's not because they asked us to exclude. Why did they ask me to exclude? Because if I include, already these people are telling to government that this is my production taken to GDP. So those fellows are giving, I am giving, what will happen? Double counting of GDP will happen and India will become number 1 in GDP. Clear? Understood? Now, so same thing, GDP at market price is given, less net indirect taxes, factor cost I will get. Factor cost is given, add net indirect taxes, market price is given. Now, so types of GDP. As I already told you, there are two types of GDP, nominal GDP, real GDP. Sir, when GDP is calculated at current market prices, today, what is the market price? Based on that, I am calculating. That is called what? Nominal GDP. GDP is calculated at base price. That is called what? Real GDP. Let us say when I manufactured the product, let us say 2 years back, the product ka value was 200. 2 years back, product ka value was 200. I will add inflation. I will add some inflation and base price I will calculate. Uske hisab se calculate real GDP. But nominal GDP, what will happen? 2 years back that was the value. Today market value from 200 has gone up to 600. So if I include 600, that is called what? Nominal. Tell me which is a correct method. Nominal GDP is correct or real GDP is correct? So real GDP is correct, not nominal. Why? So 2 years back it was produced at 200. Today you are selling for 10,000 rupees. Does it mean that 10,000 should go to India's GDP? No. My production cost only should go to what? GDP. Understood the difference between nominal and real? Now, nominal GDP will change when price changes, correct or not? When price changes, GDP changes. Price increases, GDP increases. Now, let us say, कांग्रेस के टाइम पे, clear, during Congress time, product का cost was 10 rupees. That is why GDP was 10%. Clear, product का cost was 10 rupees, GDP is 10%. Now, during BJP government, price is 20 rupees. That is why GDP has become 20%. Now tell, when price is changing, GDP is changing. Price is increasing, GDP is increasing. Price is decreasing, GDP is decreasing. Now tell, who is performing better? Who is performing better? Is Congress performing better or BJP? Can you analyze like this? Can you compare? Sir, practically not possible, right? Sir, price is increasing, GDP is increasing. I cannot tell that Congress government is bad. I also cannot tell that BJP government is good. Why? Sir, price is increasing. That is why GDP is increasing. Now, ask BJP government to take 10 rupees as a base and recalculate the GDP of the current year. Will it be 20% only? It might be 9%, it might be 11%, it might be 15%. It cannot be 20%, correct or not? Do you agree? Let BJP government take the same old price and recalculate current year's GDP using inflation rate. You think it will be 20%? No. So, in order to compare, which is better according to you? Sir, according to me, real GDP is better than compared to nominal GDP. Why nominal GDP? Nominal GDP, if I am using, will it be fictitious percentage or non-fictitious percentage? It will be fictitious percentage of GDP. Clear? I hope you understood. Some examples I've given here later on. Some examples I've given here. You can just go through later on. Now, understood what is GDP? Anyone has any doubts? Simple concept. Now, let us go to GNP. Let us go to GNP. Sir, GNP stands for Gross National Product. Sir, what is important here? Production is important or one word? What is that word? What is this word? Nation. Means nationality is important or not? Sir, name itself tells you nationality is important. Sir, the difference between GDP and GNP is that in GDP, what is important? Production should happen in India. Your nationality, is it important or not? In GDP, is your nationality important? No. What is important? Production is important. Here, nationality is important or production is important? Nationality. Sir, foreign fellow coming to India and manufacturing goods. Foreign fellow coming to India, manufacturing goods in India. Will it go to India's GDP? No. Why? Because that fellow is not a citizen of India, correct? Indian fellow manufacturing in India, will it go to GNP? See here. यहाँ पर let us see directly. Let us see here differences. Indian resident producing in India, will it go to India's GDP? Yes. Why? Because it is manufactured in India. Because it is manufactured by Indian citizen. What is the reason? Tell me why is it going? Why? क्यों जा रहा? Because citizen of India. Very good. Indian resident producing outside India. Sir, Indian fellow is going outside India, manufacturing there and coming back. Will it go to India's GDP? Yes. Why? Indian resident. Khatam. If you are a citizen of India, wherever you go and manufacture, it will come to India's GDP. Foreign resident coming to India, producing goods and services in India. Will it go to GDP? No. Very good. Sir, foreign resident producing outside India, will it come to India's GDP? No. Understood what is the difference? Now let us see here. Now tell. Citizenship is important in which case? Citizenship is important in which case? GDP or GNP? GNP. Next. Tell me, Production is important in which case? Production is important in which case? Very good. Which is based on location means which is based on location. If it is located in India, it will go to India's GDP. Very good. GNP is based on location. GDP is based on location. Location means in India only you have to come and manufacture. That only it will come to India's GDP. But what is based on residential? GNP. Wherever you go and manufacture, it will come to India's GDP. NFIA is not included. Net foreign income from abroad is not included. Why, sir? Foreign ka money you will not take into GDP. But foreign ka income, Indian fellow going outside India, manufacturing, earning money, will it go to India's GDP? Yes, sir. That is called what? Net foreign. Clear? Net factor income from abroad is taken into consideration. Let us see. Let me see how much you understood. Case laws, let us discuss. Indian resident providing goods and services in India. This is one case law, let us discuss. Indian resident providing goods and services in India. Will it go to calculation of India's GDP? GDP. Will it go to calculation of GDP? Indian resident providing goods and services in India. Yes, very good. Why will it go? Tell me reason also. Why? Why will it go to GDP? Reason also I need to know. Because production is happening in India. Very good. Will it go to calculation of GDP? Sorry, GNP. Will it go to calculation of GNP? Yes. Why? Why? What is the reason? I need reason. Because it's an Indian resident. Next. Indian resident providing goods and services outside India. Will it go to GDP? No. Very good. Will it come to GNP? Yes. Very good. Awesome. Concepts should be crystal clear. Foreign resident providing goods and services in India. Will it go to India's GDP? GDP. Will it go to GNP? GNP. Awesome. Very good. Foreign resident providing goods and services outside India. Will it go to GDP? Awesome. Will it go to GNP? Now I hope the concept is crystal clear, GDP and GNP. Now, sir, whether it is GDP or whether it is GNP, whether it is NDP or NNP, clear? All these things, one thing you have to remember, both all these four things can be calculated at factor cost also, market price also. Formula to calculate factor cost and formula to calculate market value will remain same. Clear? Now let us understand net foreign income from abroad. I hope everyone knows this fellow. Bahubali. I hope everyone knows this fellow. Now I know answers will come. Very good. Now see. This fellow, clear, this fellow is going to US and shooting for an Indian movie. He is going to US and shooting for Indian movie. Will it go to India's GDP? Indian people are going outside India and producing a movie outside India. Will it go to India's GDP? GDP. Indian fellow going outside and producing goods. Will it go to GDP? No. No. Will it go to GNP? Will it go to GNP? Yes, very good. Now I hope this fellow also everyone knows. Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible. This fellow is coming to India, producing a movie in India. Will it go to India's GNP? Now, sir, Indian people, Indian actor is going outside India, bringing that money into India. Do you agree with this? Indian people going outside India, bringing money to India, producing. In the same way, this fellow is coming to India, even though this fellow is producing in India. But will it go to India's GDP or US GDP? Sorry, it will go to India's GNP or US ka GNP? US ka GNP. It means, can I say India is gaining from Prabhas? India is losing because of Tom Cruise. Correct or not? This is inflow. This is outflow. Inflow minus outflow. NFIA, net factor income from abroad. Understood? What India is gaining because of Indian people going outside India. What India is losing because of foreign people coming to India and earning money is called what? Net factor income from abroad. Clear? That is what I have written here. Indian resident providing goods and services outside India. Is it India's income or not? Indian resident providing goods and services outside India with respect to GNP. Is it India's income? Yes, sir. 1 lakh. Next. Foreign resident providing goods and services in India with respect to GNP. Is it India's income? No. So 80,000. NFI is how much? 20,000. Understood how to calculate NFIA? Simple logic. So NFIA means what? GDP or GNP? If NFIA word is given, means what they are asking you to calculate. GDP they are not asking you to calculate. They are asking you to calculate what? GNP. Khatam. NDP. NDP means what? Net domestic product. Net means what? Only one difference. Only one difference. GDP or NDP means only one difference. Minus depreciation. Khatam. Net means minus depreciation. Ante. Nothing else. Enough. This much only. Definition. Everything will remain same. It's only what? Only depreciation. Same thing. So can I say GDP minus depreciation will give me NDP? GDP minus depreciation will give me NDP. Do you agree with this? Next two. Sir, NDP minus depreciation. NDP minus depreciation will give me what? NNP. Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this? Definitions, I hope definitions are same. Only one place it will be gross depreciation, one place it will be net of depreciation. Simple. Now, see here. GDP at market price is given. Now let me see how much you have understood. GDP at market price is given. They are asking you to calculate GNP at factor cost. So GDP is given at market price. They are asking you to convert into factor cost. From GDP at market price, what should I reduce to get factor cost? Net indirect taxes or indirect taxes? Net indirect taxes. NIDT. Net indirect taxes. So from GDP at market price, if I reduce minus net indirect taxes, what will I get? GDP at factor cost. From GDP at factor cost, what should I reduce to get GNP at factor cost? What is it? What should be the adjustment to be done? From GDP, now I have GDP at factor cost. I want GNP at factor cost. So GDP mein, GNP mein there is only one difference. What is that? NFIA. Remember, GDP plus foreign income will give me what? Plus NFIA will give me what? Factor cost. Understood the logic here? Understood? Ardhamainda? Very good. Next case. Sir, NNP at market price is given. NNP at market price is given. How to calculate GDP at factor cost? NNP at market price is given. NNP at market price. They are asking you to calculate factor cost. Now tell how to convert NNP at market price, convert into NNP at factor cost. What will you adjust? NNP at market price, say you have to calculate NNP at factor cost. What will you adjust? What will you do? Net indirect taxes. Net indirect taxes, what should I do? Add or minus? Add net indirect taxes or minus? I will give you one thing. I'll tell. Wait. Simple logic I'll tell. This much you remember. Enough. ये कहाँ से आ गया? Tell me. From GDP at market price, I want to calculate GDP at factor cost. What should I adjust? Tell me. What should I do? Plus net indirect taxes or minus net indirect taxes? Less net indirect taxes. I will get what? Sir, I will get this one. Clear? This will be GNP, sorry, GDP. GDP at factor cost. From GDP at factor cost, I want to find out NNP at market price. NNP at market price. From GDP, how to calculate NNP? What should I adjust? G and N. What is the difference? Here it is gross, here it is net. Depreciation. So what I'll do? Less depreciation. I will get some figure. Here, less depreciation. I will get some figure. Next. This, what is this? This is NDP at factor cost. Correct or not? NDP at factor cost. Do you agree with this? Very good. From this to NDP, what should I add? What should I add to get NNP? What should I add to get NNP? So NFIA, very good. Add NFIA, very good. What will I get to? Here I will get to NNP at factor cost. But what do I want to? Sir, I want NNP at market price. Now what should I add? Just tell me. Add NIDT. I will get what? So I will get something called what? NNP at which price? Market price. Understood how to adjust? Understood. Like this, any combination they can give you. Do you have the confidence of solving any combination given like this? You should have no other option, right? You should have. Very good. So let me keep it as it is. Now let us understand what is national income. Now let us understand the definition of national income. National income means what? Sir, net value. Net value means final goods minus intermediate goods. Correct or not? Final goods minus intermediate goods. Net value of all economic goods and economic services produced within the domestic territory in an accounting year plus NFIA. It's similar to what we have studied just now. No. Sir, how many sides are there of national income? I can calculate national income using value added method or income method or expenditure method. Clear? How to measure national income? GDP, GNP, NDP, NNP. Sir, GDP can be calculated in, I repeat, GDP, GNP, NDP, NNP can be calculated in value added method. GDP, GNP, NDP, NNP can also be calculated under income method. GDP, GNP, NDP, NNP can also be calculated under expenditure method. Understood the logic here? Calculate GDP, they will ask calculate GDP, value added method, khatam. Calculate GDP, expenditure method. Calculate NNP, income method. You have to calculate. But now question comes, how do you know whether it is value added method or income method or expenditure method? How will you come to know whether it is value added method, income method and expenditure method? How? Let us see. You have to see for these three things. You have to see for these three things. If these three words are given in your question, it means what? It means it is value added method. What are those? Primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector. If these three words are given, it means what? So if these three words are given, just give me a minute, 1 minute. So as we were discussing how to identify whether it is value added method, check for three things. Sir, what are those three things? Primary activities, secondary activities, tertiary activities. Clear? Now, sir, what will come under tertiary activities? Service sector. Service sector will come under what? Tertiary activities. Clear? Service sector will come under what? Clear? Tertiary activities. Example of service sector: education industry. Clear? Banking, bus driving, hairdressing, beauty parlor, education, etc. etc. Secondary sector mein manufacturing will come. Manufacturing. All the manufacturing comes under what? Secondary sector. And all services like hospital also, they all come under tertiary sector. Other than manufacturing and services, everything comes under what? Primary. Example: farming, fishing, coal mining, oil wells, etc. etc. I hope you understood. No. Clear? So they may ask in exam value added method, and in value added method, what you have to do? First, what you have to do? What all activities are given? First, calculate primary activities. Add all the items which come under primary. Add all the items which come under secondary. Add all the items come under territory. Total, it will be what? GDP. Clear? So primary sector का आंसर प्लस टेरिटरी सेक्टर का आंसर प्लस सेकेंडरी सेक्टर का आंसर minus intermediate consumption will give me what? GDP at market price. Clear? Next, income method. Sir, income method is also known as factor income method, also known as factor payment method, also known as distributed share method, also known as distributed share method. Clear? So these are the different names. Now, what all will come under factor incomes? Factor income में wages will come, profit will come, salaries will come, rent will come, interest will come. I repeat, factor income method में factor income should be taken into consideration. I repeat, in income method में factor income should be taken into consideration. Example, wages, salaries, rent, interest, profit. Now you will ask, sir, all these things are expenses, right? All these things are expenses. I hope you understood. All these are incomes or expenses. All these are incomes or expenses. Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible? Income or expenses? Expenses, right? But they are coming under income method. Why? They are income from whose point of view? I am not talking from the payer point of view. I am talking from receiver point of view. From the receiver point of view, wages, salaries, rent. For an owner, rent is what? Income. For a salary, what is, for an employee, what is salary? Income. For labor, what is wages? Income, right? We are talking from receiver point of view, not from payer point of view. Obviously, income means from receiver only, right? For payer, why will it be an income? Next. So what all you can take here? Compensation to employees. Clear? Plus rent, interest and profit. Remember one thing, rent plus interest plus profit is called as what? Operating surplus. Clear? Operating surplus. Mixed income of self-employed. What is mixed income? Income from other sources. Plus NFIA. All these things put together will give me what? Income. So income method may remember what will come? Sir, compensation to employees, operating surplus, mixed income, NFIA. Sir, what will come under compensation to employees? Salary, bonus, wages, etc. etc. What will come under operating expenses? Rent, interest, profit. Clear? Mixed income to all सब इधर उधर का income पूरा मिला के I will take here. Now, what are included and what are excluded from calculation of what? National income using which method? Income method. First thing, income only from primary factors of production are taken. Whatever list I have given here, these are called what? Primary factors of production. Other than these, we are called what? Secondary factors of production. So don't take secondary factors of production. Labor and non-labor income both is taken. Sir, non-labor income means rent, interest. Labor income means you are working and getting money. Sir, I am teaching and taking money from you. Labor income. I am selling my recorded lectures. Non-labor income. Next, exclusions. Sir, transfer income. I hope everyone knows what is transfer income. Can you tell me what is transfer income? Any income which has no benefit to the country is called what? Transfer income. I repeat, any income which has no benefit for the country is called what? Transfer income. What do we mean by no income, no benefit? What do we mean by no benefit? What do we mean by no benefit? Let us say pension. Will it giving pension to a retired employee, will it benefit to government? No. Scholarships, will it benefit to government? No. Subsidies, will it give benefit to government? No. Unemployment allowance, will it give benefit government? No. Government is spending money, but it has no benefit for the government. In addition to this, we will also not take illegal income. And next, sir, sale of second-hand goods is not taken into consideration. I leave about second-hand goods. House constructed in on 10th October 2020, sold 15th January 2022. Now tell, it will now this house, will it go to national income in which financial year? It will go to national income in which financial year? Will it go in 2021 financial year, or will it go in 21-22 financial year? Which year? 21-22. Why? Why 21-22? Why not 2021? Your head. What did I tell just now? Starting में what do we do talk? Production is important or sale is important everywhere. I told only the same thing. What is important? What is important? Production. Sir, is sale important to you? Sir, sale is not at all important to us. Sale is not at all important to us. Sir, whether you sell, whether you don't sell, whether it is you left as it is. Sir, even though it is unsold, will it still go to calculation of GDP at the time of production? Will it go to calculation of GDP at the time of production even though it is unsold? Yes. So sale is important? No. What is important? Production. I am selling my mobile phone to you. I will sell my pencil to you. I will sell my iPad to you. Tell me, sale of iPad to a student, will it go to calculation of national income or not? Sale of iPad, will it go? No. Manufacturing of iPad. Now tell, by that logic, tell me when will it go to calculation of national income? Which year? 2021 or 21-22? 2021. Understood? This is how छोटे छोटे points में you will lose marks in exam while calculating. Clear? Next we have expenditure method. Sir, expenditure is of two types. Private consumption is there. Clear? Private consumption is there and government consumption is there. So private consumption में what is included? Only final value. As we already know, intermediate consumption is not included. Only final value is included. Clear? Next. Value of primary products. I hope you know what are primary products. List पूरा बताया था ना primary products. Payment for domestic services. Domestic services means personal expenses. Household का personal expenses. Sir, I am paying salary to a maid. I am paying salary to a servant. It means, are the services provided by those maid or a servant to me in India? So it means it is an expenditure only. From my side, if you see, it is expenditure method. From the house, from the servant or क्या है उसका नाम maid के side से if you see, that will become what? Income method. Correct or not? Clear? Next, exclusions. Land and buildings purchased or construction by household. One thing is not included. Land and buildings purchased by whom? Household or constructed by household. This is not taken into consideration. Just remember this much, enough. Clear? Next. And government consumption में what is not included? Sir, government consumption में what is included? Defense, education, healthcare. All expenses are included by government except one thing, transfer payment. Clear? Now, in expenditure method, tell me, personal expenditure will come or not? Yes, it will come, sir. Government expenditure, will it come, sir? Yes, it will come. But personal consumption में what will not come? Consumption of goods by household. Which goods are by household? Only construction of land, sorry, construction of building or construction purchase of building. This will not come. And second thing, what will not come? Transfer payment. Other than these two, everything will be taken while calculating which method? Expenditure method. I hope you understood the concepts here. Any doubts? Okay. So actually, let us take a break of 15 minutes now. Clear? My head is bursting like anything. Let us take a break now. Anyhow, later on I had to give a break. Let us take a break now only. Now it is 6 o'clock. 6:20 we will start the class again. Till then, little rest I will take. Clear? So 6:20 we will start the class again. Listen very carefully. Clear? Let us solve one or two problems, small problems. Then we will understand how to calculate national income. Clear? And how to identify whether it is national income problem or not. So listen very carefully. First one, they say compute national income. And they have given us consumption, they have given. Clear? They have given us investment, they have given us government purchases, they have given us exports, and they have given us imports. Clear? Now tell me, clear? Now tell me, this is which method? This is which method? Is it income method, expenditure method? Which method is this? Which method is this? Am I audible? Expenditure method. Very good. So expenditure method make consumption. Clear, consumption is also an expenditure, investment is also an expenditure, government purchase is also an expenditure, correct or not? So can I write something like this? Can I write something like this? Clear? No. So computation of national income, just roughly we will calculate how much is consumption. 750. Clear? Consumption is 750 plus how much is investment? 250, right? Investment is 250 plus, then we have government purchases 100. How much this is? 1100. Clear? 1100. Next. Then we have exports. Sir, exports is income or expenditure? Exports will result into revenue or expenditure? Income. And imports are? Imports means expenditure. Now tell, how much is net? Net is how much? Net exports is how much? Plus 100 or minus 100? Minus 100. So how much will be my national income? 1000. Correct? How much will be my national income? 1000. Understood how to calculate and how to identify? Simple. Next, let us go to question number 2. Calculate GDP at market price and derive national income from the following data. Clear? First, what we'll do, we will calculate GDP at market price. Check this and tell me which method is this. Sir, exports, inventory investment, indirect taxes, depreciation, gross residential investment. This is all which expenditure? Is it income method or expenditure method? Expenditure method. Now, how much is inventory investment? Sir, investment in inventory. Inventory is how much? Sir, inventory investment is 100, right? Inventory investment is 100. Exports we'll see later on. Indirect taxes we'll see later on. NFIA will be an adjustment later on. Personal consumption expenditure, how much? 3500. Personal consumption expenditure 3500. Clear? Personal consumption expenditure 3500. Next we have gross residential construction investment. I repeat, gross residential construction investment. How much it is? 300. Clear? It is how much, sir? 300. Gross residential construction investment 300. Clear? Then we have depreciation will come later on, imports will come later on. Government purchase of goods, how much? 1000. Government purchases, how much? Sir, 1000. Clear? Government purchases are 1000. Then gross public investment 200. GPC, gross public investment. Clear? Gross public investment. How much we have? Sir, we have around 200. Clear? 200. Gross business fixed investment. How much? We have around 300. Clear? 300. So what we'll do? We'll add everything. Sir, itna hi to hai. There is nothing much too difficult. Can you tell me total of total how much? Total is how much? 5400. Now what we'll do? We will take net exports. Net exports. Sir, how much is the exports? 200. Imports how much? 100. Now tell, exports will result into positive figure or negative figure? Exports are 200, imports are 100. Positive how much? Positive how much? Positive 100. So plus 100. So how much it will be? 5500. This is what? Always your starting answer will always be what? Remember I told you, will it be GDP or GNP? Starting point will always be GDP at market price. So they asked us to calculate GDP at market price, we calculated. What next to? National income. National income, remember national income is nothing but NNP at factor cost. Net at factor cost. NNP at factor cost. From GDP at market price, what should I reduce to get factor cost? From GDP at market price, what should I reduce to get factor cost? Depreciation. Less net indirect taxes. How much, sir? Net indirect taxes? 100. 100 is indirect taxes. Any subsidy given? No. So indirect taxes will be 100. Indirect taxes will be 100. It will be 5,400, right? 5,400. This will give me what? GDP at factor cost. From this, what should I reduce to get GNP? What should I add or minus to get GNP? GNP, gross national product. I'm not talking about NNP, GNP, NFIA. Gross means what? NFIA. Normally, what should I do to NFIA? Add or minus? NFIA should be added or reduced? Added. Very good. How much to add? Sir, minus 50. So we will reduce minus 50. 5,350. This is called what? Sir, this is called NDP at factor cost. From NDP at factor cost, what should I do to get NNP? Depreciation. How much is depreciation? How much is depreciation? It's given, right? 50. Depreciation is 50. So minus 50. So how much is my NNP at factor cost, which is also called as national income? 5,300. Got? Understood how to calculate? Because we have to do all the calculations fast. Next. Same, this is income method. Just one second. This is income method. Income method, what will I do? Will I take everything or only income? Let us discuss. Sir, personal consumption will I take? Yes, income method. Depreciation will I take? Yes. Wages will I take? Yes. Indirect business taxes? Yes. Interest? Yes. Domestic investment, will it come or not? Domestic investment, will it come in income method? No, it will come in which method? Expenditure method. Very good. Government expenditure, income method or expenditure method? Very good. Rental income, which method? Rental income, which method? Income method. Very good. Corporate profits, which method? Income. Exports. Exports and imports. Sir, in any method it will come. Net factor income from abroad. It will come in every problem depending upon what they are asking. Mixed income. Where will it come? Income method or expenditure method? Income. Imports and exports depends upon what we are calculating. Clear? So they are asking you to calculate what? NNP at which, what they are asking you to calculate? See here. Using income method. So when they are asking you to calculate income method, expenses will I take or ignore? In this problem, expenses should I take or ignore? Ignore. Let us say same problem may they are asking you to calculate income method also, expenditure method also. What all will come under income method, you take under income method. What all will come under expenditure method, you take under expenditure method. Clear? Depreciation, NFIA, imports, exports, this all depends upon adjustments. What type of problem they are asking. Next. Now see. From the following data, calculate GNP at market price using which method? Value added method. Now, sir, value added method mein how many sectors are there? Value added method mein how many sectors are there? 3 sectors, right? Primary, secondary and tertiary, right? Primary, secondary and tertiary. Now, अब sir, primary method mein how much is the output? Check and tell how much is the output. Value of output in primary sector, how much? Value of output in primary sector, how much? 500. Clear? 500. Minus intermediate consumption. Check how much is intermediate consumption. Intermediate consumption in primary sector, how much? 250. Minus 250. So how much I will get here? Outer column at 250. Next. Secondary sector. Tell me how much is the output in secondary sector? Value of output in secondary sector, how much? 700. And how much is intermediate consumption? $400. So 900 minus 400. 900 minus 400. How much I'll get in the outer column? 500. Next. territory sector mein tell me how much is the output? 700, right? And how much is this one, sir? कौन सा अपना ये 300, 700 and 300, right? 700 and 300. Territory means 700 minus 300. So how much? 400. So all these things I should add. How much will I get? 1150. Always my first answer will always be what? My first answer will always be what? GDP at market price. Very good. GDP at market price. Clear? GDP at market price. Now, what is the other information given? Value of output, we have taken NFIA from, see here, from GDP at market price. If I adjust NFIA, what will I get? Will I get GDP or NDP? NDP. NFIA minus 20. I will get what? NDP at what? Market price. How much it will be? 1130, right? 1130. What are they asking us to calculate? To calculate GNP at market price. Using which method? Value added method, right? Next, what else I have? Okay, this is GNP, sorry. This is not NDP, GNP. This is GNP. Clear? This is GNP. N will come when it is depreciation is adjusted, right? Net will come only when depreciation is adjusted. So I hope you understood basic calculations how to do. Sir, similar types of problems are there. Compulsory, every attempt they will ask one question. Compulsory, they will ask one question. So you have to be very much prepared. National income ka what you do, last 4 RTPs you solve. Majority 99% of the cases, same adjustments what you have seen in class, same adjustments will come. Like in RTPs, majority of the questions are same adjustments. So I don't think so you will find it any difficult. So I hope 4 marks aram se you can score if this question comes. 4 to 5 marks ka question hai. Can we easily score? So I hope technical part you understood. Okay, very good. So let us start with next chapter. Just 1 minute. Challenges in computation of what? National income. Problem number 1. Lack of agreed definition of national income. Tell me, is there one way to calculate national income or multiple ways? Sir, multiple ways. Is there any one particular standard method of calculation? No. So is it easy to calculate? No. Proper distinction between final and intermediate goods. A simple logic I'll ask you. Simple logic I'll ask you. I am a bakery. For a bakery, eggs, cocoa powder, maida. I don't know what we call maida in English. I never use that word. Maida is there. Then what else? Sugar is there. Vanilla essence is there. Chocolate is there. These are all examples of what? Intermediate goods or final goods? Intermediate goods. Should bakery include intermediate goods or exclude intermediate goods? Sir, how will government come to know? I will not exclude, right? I will not exclude. These calculations will be done by bakery fellow or will be done by government too. Sir, these calculations will be done by whom? Government too. How will government know that production of cake, let us say 10,000 tons of cake were produced in a year. 10,000 tons cake were produced in a year. How much raw material has gone into the production of that cake? Will government exactly know? Will government exactly know? Sir, practically not possible. So can I say calculation of national income is based on estimates? Calculation of national income is based on estimates? Yes, sir. Next. One more example. Now tell, chocolate is what? Intermediate goods for whom? Bakery. But chocolate for me is what? For you and me. Final good or intermediate goods? So is there any specific definition of what is intermediate goods, what is final goods? Is there any specific definition? No. For some people, chocolate is final good. For some people, it is intermediate good. There is no proper definition of what? No proper definition of What is intermediate goods? That is one more problem while calculating national income. No, it does not include household production. Why? Because household production is considered as what? Economic activity. Since economic activity mein money is not included, that is why since it's a non-economic activity, money is not involved. It is not going to GDP calculation. Next, illegal activities, as we already know, unreported income we don't show, because the day India starts reporting black money, India will become in 1 or 2 years only the superpower. But that is practically not possible, right? नहीं होता वो. Valuation of government services are not taken into consideration. Like government is providing government schools, police, flyover, toll gate, hospital, schools. Since these are free of cost, they are not taken into consideration. Valuation of goods at constant prices. That is one more problem. Constant prices means I keep changing the value of goods based on market price. That is again problem. Transfer payments again is a issue. Sir, government is spending money. Whether government is receiving back the benefit or not, at the end of the day, government is spending money, right? At least in expenditure method, take it. They won't take. Issues of double counting. As I already told you, GDP calculation is 100% accurate. No. GDP calculation is approximate calculation. That is what I told. Double counting may happen. How will, let us say, raw materials produced for cake, all the raw materials are, let us say, 10,000 tons. For producing cake, only 8,000 tons are used. What will government do? Cake ka production minus intermediate consumption production. And that too, some cakes eggless are there, some cakes with eggs are there, some cakes are without sugar, some cakes are with sugar, some cakes are flavors. How will government come to know how many eggs have used, how many cakes are with eggs, how many cakes are without eggs? Easy to find out or difficult to find out? Sir, very difficult to find out. Inadequacy and lack of reliability of data available. First of all, data. Tell me how many people file GST returns correctly. How many people file GST returns correctly? Very rarely we see people filing GST returns correctly, right? Next. So when I am only not giving correct information, how will government calculate correct GDP? Leisure time is not included. If leisure time is included, India will be number one in GDP today itself. Why? We have a habit of sitting idle. Correct or not? Whether if you open economics book or not, we always open Facebook. Whether you eat Bengalgram or not, you open Instagram. So leisure time is very high in India. No one wants to work. They want only money. Especially auto failures. Have you heard about auto failures? Auto is there, cab is there. They will not come only. Absence of recording income due to illiteracy and ignorance. Sir, I want to report. Let us say I am from a remote village. I don't know how to record. Then will that go to calculation of national income? No. I want to, but I am unable to. Why? Because of illiteracy. And why national income is important? To measure economic growth. Sir, is Indian economy growing or not as of today? CD GDP minus 23.9. Is it growing or not? Why? Because, sir, why it has gone to negative? Because during corona situation, complete lockdown was there. Manufacturing was happening. During corona season, manufacturing was happening. No, since there was no manufacturing, obviously what will happen? GDP will fall. Now, whenever some person says, "Arey GDP is falling, India is not a good country, but kya to bhi kar rahe? This Modi is not doing anything. Congress is better." That time you have to give them a proper answer. Ask them what is GDP. Except gross domestic product, they won't tell anything. They don't even know how to calculate GDP, and those people will comment that GDP is reducing means India is not performing well. Arey, leave about India. Every country in the world has suffered, correct or not? Not only India. During corona situation, there was no manufacturing, right? When manufacturing happens, then only GDP will come. Next, let us say next 1 year, may manufacturing doubles. What will happen? GDP will increase or not? Yes, GDP will increase. So it's not because India is not good, it's not a good country. India is a good country only. Due to corona, manufacturing did not happen. Helps in making policies for growth and inflation. Sir, government comes to know that GDP is decreasing. What will it do? Make in India concept. Sir, what is make in India concept? Producing in India or producing outside India? Producing in India or outside India? Producing in India, right? When production happens in India because of make in India, what will happen? GDP will increase or not? Next, increase or decrease in GDP helps in what? Determining the short term performance. Short term India is bad or good? Last 6 months, short term. It was very bad because of corona. Now we don't know. Helps in understanding distribution patterns. Today, income distribution is correct or not? Sir, poor is becoming poor, rich is becoming rich. People like you and me, we are in middle class only. We are neither becoming rich nor becoming poor. Helps in forecasting future demand. Sir, when future ka demand is now when GDP is increasing, it means what? Production is increasing. When GDP is increasing means production is increasing. Correct or not? GDP increasing means what? Production is increasing. Do you agree with this statement? Yes. Sir, when production is increasing, it means what? Demand for Indian products is increasing or not? Simple. That is how we analyze. Clear? Just give me a minute. With this